Welcome in to the 48 Minutes podcast on Believe. I'm Ross Geiger, the former NBA video coordinator, and I'm joined alongside Bruce Bernstein, our four-time Emmy Award winner who spent more than 3 decades at ESPN producing NBA shows, SportsCenter, and soaking up knowledge from the best hoop analysts in the business. Also joining us is the 2-time Emmy Award winner, Michael Worldby Freer, who's a senior writer at Stat Factor, specializing in writing advanced statistical NBA reports for various announcers across the league. And tonight, we're thrilled to be joined by former NBA player and 2008 NBA champion, Leon Powe. More on Leon in just a moment. This is episode number 259, which is dedicated to the 1959 All-NBA first team, which included Bob Pettit, Elgin Baylor, and 3 Celtics, Bill Sharman, Bob Cousy, and Bill Russell. Bruce, why don't you give another Celtic a proper introduction?
Thanks, Ross. At the 2008 NBA Finals, Leon Powe of the Celtics went nuclear in Game 2 against the Lakers. He scored 21 points on just 7 field goal attempts. He was incredibly efficient and a true force after seeing limited action all season. Now, before Leon made it to the NBA, he grew up in Oakland, California, and his early years were marked by struggles that many of us cannot comprehend. At the age of 7, the Powe's house burned down. His mom and the family were homeless for years, but he overcame every obstacle, became a McDonald's All-American in high school, a college All-American at Cal Berkeley, and an NBA champion in Boston. And at Cal, he overcame a serious knee injury that cost him his sophomore season. So this man knows adversity better than most. Welcome, Leon, and thanks for being here.
Hey, thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate it. Really look forward to the interview.
Great. I want to start back in the 510. I've worked with Oakland legends like Paul Silas and Antonio Davis, and I've watched guys like Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Dame Lillard, and others. And if there's a trait that most of the Oakland guys that I know share, it's being cerebral, tough guys. I really think that began with Bill Russell back in the 50s. And even the Smalls are like that too. Yeah. Tough, not dirty. Cerebral, not crazy. Gritty, not entitled. And when I first met Antonio, that's how I described his game. And I think he kind of considered it a compliment. I hope he did. So what are your thoughts on this Oakland basketball state of mind, Leon?
Oh, no, it's tough out there. They don't give us nothing. It's no free handouts. We go play on the playground. We play on the playground. Nowadays, the kids, they don't play on the playground. They play in the gym. We was straight playground, no fouls neither. Nobody call fouls out there, and you don't want them to. You gotta fight through it. And battle tested. Some of the stuff you mentioned already. We went through a lot in life, especially growing up in Oakland. It's a rough type of neighborhood, and we try to make the most of it, but also, be the best that we can be. But a lot of the players that come from there, they come from like something where they don't get nothing handed to them. And when that happens, that means you got to work to go get it. You got to find your own way to go get it and make stuff happen for yourself. Sure, you have people in your corner like I did with Bernard Ward and everybody, but it was ultimately up to me for me to go figure out how to get stuff done on the court and off.
Hey, Leon, Damian Lillard, he famously wears number 0 as a way to honor his Oakland roots. You also wore that number before Damian did. I was just wondering, did you choose that number to honor Oakland as well?
I chose that number because it was the best looking number there so far. It's the Celtics, okay? We ain't got that many numbers over here. Everything is retired, okay? My 0 gonna be retired in a minute, but it's just gonna have Tatum on the back of it. But yeah, no, I picked that number. I thought about Oakland as well, and just thought about where people was telling me when I was in foster care, telling me that I wasn't gonna amount to nothing. I wasn't gonna be nothing. Trying to put me down a little bit, but I took it in stride and didn't let that affect what was going on. So that 0 meant a lot to me.
Now, many guys who came out of Oakland became leaders on their team. I mean, whether it be basketball, football, you name it. We've seen a lot of those examples throughout the history of sports. Why do you feel that's the case?
You said became leaders on the team, of course, because you have to be leaders in your community. You have to be leaders sometimes in your household as well. Especially coming up, our parents taught leadership. You got to be a leader, especially coming up in Oakland, because we was taught never be a follower. You don't want to be a follower, and you want to be a leader out there on the court and off the court. Whatever you're doing out there, you want to be a leader or become a leader. And I think that's what it is. When you come from Oakland, we already have that leadership mentality. We have a go-get-it mentality, and we also never quit. That type of mentality that can take us far, and that's what we rely on when things get tough.
Hey, Leon, after you finished playing, which also included stops in Cleveland and Memphis, you became the Celtics Community Ambassador, and it's a job you've had for more than a decade. I'm just curious, why does that job appeal to you so much?
Oh, man, it's very important to me. And before I had this job, I've been doing this type of work all the time, especially helping kids, especially giving knowledge whenever I can to try to help another player or somebody in need of some advice. And that's what I really try to do. And I really love doing it because sometimes, when I was coming up, sometimes they didn't come back in Oakland to really talk about how to make it, how to get stuff done for us going on the court, or how you should act. Players sometimes didn't come back, and every time the kids see a player, they gravitate towards them. And what I try to do is give sound and great advice because I've been through it all. I've been through adversity. I've been through struggle. I've been at the mountaintop as well. Top players in the country. So I know a little bit about everything, and I try to give them the advice that sometimes that wasn't given to me by other players.
You talk to youth all the time, as you've mentioned, and you have a consistent message for all of them. And I think you even taught a lot of them a 4-letter word, WORK.
Yeah. It's all about work ethic. I tell my son, I tell everybody I'm around, we got to work. It's nothing going to be handed to us, and you think that's so we're not going to make it. So we got to work. We got to really work. Get up early in the mornings. That's why I tell these players, get up, make sure you do what you got to do in the mornings, and go work out and go put that work in. And because you can be less talented, but one thing they can't do is outwork you. And if they can't outwork you, you can pass them up if you consistent enough. And that's what we try to be, is consistent.
I love that, Leon. And now I kind of want to ask you about some big news this offseason, and one of which is LeBron James, who has decided to become a member of the Philadelphia 76ers, making him the 4th All-Star in their starting lineup alongside Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and Jalen Brown. Just curious to get your reaction when you heard the news.
Yeah, when I heard the news, I was a little shocked, but not that much shocked because, LeBron, he will go to a team that, he feel like he can help, but also feel like the team can help him in a way as well. So I think, you cover both with Philly, and it's just about meshing the personalities, I think, there, and try to get them to fit because, when we came together, the 08 Celtics, everybody was trying to say the same thing about us, our personalities. We had a lot of them. We had big personalities, and we had to find a way to mesh. And it was some sacrifices too. Everybody had to make sacrifices, and I think that's what's going to have to happen with that team. He just joined with the Sixers. Somebody going to have to make sacrifices. Do I know who it is? I don't know. I'm not in that locker room, but I know my locker room, we had to make sacrifices in order for the team to work.
Leon, you've known LeBron since you guys were teenagers playing AAU ball together and stuff. Do you see him as a guy that will come in, even at the age of 42, come into a locker room like that with a lineup that we just mentioned and immediately become a leader on that team?
Yeah, he can be because, some of a lot of the players look up to him too as well. And a lot of the players actually go to him for advice sometimes. So, I don't know the locker room dynamic. I don't know the player dynamic between everybody, but, he could do that. But it's also being while being a leader, it's also knowing when to step back too as well. So, and I know he know that, but you know, you got to. It's a give or take on both ends. So, hopefully, you know, they can come to some type of agreement where you know they can all work together. Just not when they play us.
Exactly. Like that response there. Now, Leon, you dealt with more setbacks than almost anyone, but you kept looking forward and never let temporary setbacks set you back.
Yeah.
In many ways, isn't it the ideal mindset for a great athlete to have that? I mean, sometimes you need to put the misses behind you while also still applying what you've learned to help make you better the next time.
Yes. A lot of setbacks. Sometimes I've seen with athletes, setbacks can really hurt a player and hurt a player confidence as well. And given my situation, setbacks hit me hard, and I didn't know where I was going to turn from there. And then it just hit me. It was like, you know what? You can't change the past. You only can do what's in front of you in the future. So that's what I was trying to do, and try to just look forward and not look back. And setbacks come, and it did shake my confidence a little bit, but I got out of that funk, and I was like, man, I'm gonna just go forward and work hard as I can to try to get back to where I was at. And it worked out. But some players I've seen it didn't work out. And so it's a give or take in that situation too. But you always got to believe in yourself. And that's the most important thing.
Leon, getting back to your role as a community ambassador, you in that role, you're obviously in the front office of the Celtics. I was just wondering, can you describe the relationship you have with players and coaches on that team, or does being in your role kind of separate you from contact or limit your contact with players and coaches?
No, I can go wherever I want to go. Put it like that. Wherever I feel like going, I can go. But yeah, I usually have in the past I had a lot of contact with players and coaches, input, things like that. For just giving my advice and things like that. And then recently I didn't have, like last few years, I didn't have as much as, as I like, but that was just on me because I've been traveling a lot. So, but this year, yeah, I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna go in there and make sure we do what we got to do because this is a big year for us.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about one of those former players, of course, Jalen Brown. He'll no longer be with the Celtics after a memorable 10-year career. And I would, expect probably in the future, number 7 will hang in the rafters, given what he brought to the franchise over a decade now. Going forward, how will the Celtics look on the court? At least now, inserting some new guys like Mitchell Robinson and Paul George.
Yeah, I think it's a mystery right now, but I think as long as we have Tatum healthy, especially all our guys healthy, I think we should be fine for us winning games and things like that. Now, the big question is, what kind of major step and leaps can we take with this unit and this squad? And that's yet to be seen. But I do got confidence in them that they can go far. It's just about how they come out to play the game and how Tatum handle being, given all the pressure that he's about to have on him this year, up and coming year. So we'll see, but I believe that he can handle it. I've seen him do it before in crucial moments in the games, especially. So I think he'll be ready for it.
Now, one of the key pickups for Boston was Mitchell Robinson from the world champion New York Knicks. There, my weekly mention of that, just so you know, it's an inside joke with the show there. The Celtics have done a great job in recent years improving performance of big men who come in from elsewhere, like Luke Garnett and Luka Garza, for example, or whatever. Now, Mitchell Robinson comes there pretty established as a really good defender, shot blocker.
Yep.
But one of the things that's a problem for him is free throws. He's been recent years been a lousy free throw shooter. And it's obviously a real liability for him in terms of being able to be on the court at the end of games. Can player development coaches really turn around somebody who's a poor free throw shooter like Robinson into someone who can at least make half or just slightly above half of your free throws? Or is it just something, I guess, is it just a matter of creating better habits, I guess?
Yeah. Well, first, I know in some players, it's in their head when they get up to the free throw line. I remember sometimes I had a free throw funk, and then it was just in my head. It was just when I get up there, I used to tell myself sometimes, I was like, man, I do not want to miss this in front of all these people. And then my family was like, first of all, you shouldn't even say you're going to miss anything. And so I was like, you're already psyching yourself out. You go up there and say you're going to make it. You go up there and just shoot your normal shot. And so sometimes it's just better just shooting a shot that's comfortable, getting the rhythm in it and feeling good on the release. But Robinson's shot is a little flat. And I say that lightly.
That's being nice there, Leon.
I'm being real kind. It goes like it starts from under the rim. If the coaches can get it up just a little bit, I think he might have a shot. He might have a shot because our coaches work extremely hard. They take their jobs really serious, and I expect them to be working with Robinson day in and day out.
All right, Leon, we can't have you on this show without talking about 18 years ago, the 2008 NBA Finals, Game 2 against the Lakers. You're smiling. I was smiling too. I was there. Yeah. You were the 10th leading scorer on the team, but in the second quarter, you took off your warm-ups and you put on a cape. Yeah. You hit the floor. You were dominant. 8 points in 5 minutes, 6 in the third quarter, 7 in the fourth. As I like to say, you just kind of went nuclear. In 15 minutes of playing time, you left a mark on the series and on the franchise that is never going to be forgotten. It became known as the Leon Powe game. I was there. I'll never forget it. What is your fondest memory from that game?
First of all, I like to say, when I talk to kids all the time, and some kids come to me, man, I'm only getting 5 minutes. I'm only getting 6 minutes. I'm only getting 10 minutes. Now, what can I do in 15 minutes? I need the whole game. No. Whenever you get out there, you make the most of it, but you don't take no plays off. You don't slack off. You play, and you play hard as you can while you're out there. That's what you can control, and that's my message to them always. Control what you can control. But my memory from that is I switched back from the cereal that I was eating. I went back to my Frosted Flakes that day. I went back to it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get back to my Frosted Flakes. I ain't had it in a while, and see if this worked today, see what's going on. And then I had my Frosted Flakes. I felt something that came over me. I felt a good vibe going into the arena, and I had a special that was supposed to be running too as well. I didn't know it was going to run that day. I didn't know nothing. So, but I felt good. I entered the arena. Everybody was so friendly that day. I don't know why. They was just so friendly with me. And I'm like, man, this is good. Okay, I felt a good vibe. And then when Doc called me to get in the game, I tried to get in when the play was going, like it was going up and down. And then I was like, oh, let me jump in because I was so excited. Then the ref grabbed me and pulled me back. Like, no, you can't get in yet. Wait. And then so I started waiting. And then, when you don't want to psych yourself out, but this is the finals, right? This is coming down to this one moment I've been working my whole life for, to try to get to this one moment and this one opportunity that people only get sometimes not in their whole lifetime. And it really came down to that. And I started looking at all the cameras, the lights and everything. I was like, okay, this is my moment. But I went back to all the hard work I put in, all the nights I stayed up, all the setbacks I had, and really dialed in and really went out there and really had a great game and a great game plan too as well. And so I really enjoyed that game, especially because we got the win. You don't want to lose on a good game. You do not want to lose. No, that'd be a bad game. So, but really enjoyed it. Went back to the Frosted Flakes. So everybody out there, man, do what you do. Don't switch your routine because it could cost you. I went back to the Frosted Flakes and it really helped me out.
I told you this story when we were at the Hall of Fame together. I was working for ESPN at the time, and, we worked with ABC. We kind of were ABC. And we had a pre-planned halftime feature on you, okay, about your family adversity and how you took care of your siblings and all that stuff. And it would have been a really compelling, great halftime piece even if you hadn't come off the bench and turned into Superman in front of the nation. But I want to speak on behalf of my former colleagues at ABC and ESPN, and thank you so much for making us look like geniuses for having that piece at halftime of that game. It just, you thought you were having a good night. We had a pretty good night because you had a good night.
All the stars align.
Yeah, my job is to make y'all look good too. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm on camera, I got to make y'all look good. And so, but yeah, we all had a good night that night because at halftime, I was walking in and I seen me on TV talking. I'm like, what I'm talking about over here? What is this? I was like, I'm walking by the cameras at halftime. Then I remember like, oh, the special. Did they run the special today? I was like, I don't know what happened. So I ran back. I went back in the locker room. And then after the game, it was like, yeah, the special ran. Everything went according to plan. I was like, I don't know according to plan, but it happened. So we was good that way. We made everybody look good.
All right, we're sticking with that night now. Now, I've covered the NBA in one form or another since the early 1990s, okay? And one of the people that I always found to be, I'm going to say different in quotes, but let's really call it as it is. One of the people I always considered to be a real jerk was Phil Jackson. I remembered him as a player. He was a guy who threw a lot of elbows on the court. Uh-huh. And after you torched those guys, he threw a verbal elbow at you in the post-game press conference, and he pronounced your last name Powe, as in P-O-W. Was it kind of cool that you ticked him off so much that he pulled that kind of sophomoric move?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool because I didn't know at first. I got a lot of text messages after the game. It was over. I had, I don't know how many, hundreds of text messages. So then I thought it died down. And then all of a sudden I got another hundreds of text messages. I'm like, what is going on? Hold on. I didn't play again. We didn't have another game yet. We only had game 2. Okay. I was like, what's going on? They said, Phil mispronounced your name. Phil don't know your name. They was mad. They was like, oh, that's not good. I was like, no, he do it on purpose. He did that on purpose. Because if you know Phil, he try to get under your skin. He try to get under your skin at any means necessary. And what he tried to do is just mispronounce my name on purpose so he can let his players know, the refs know, that Leon Powe shouldn't be shooting more free throws than his whole team when he have Kobe on the team. So, at some point I was like, you do have Kobe on the team, but I earned those free throws. So you can't take that away. You can't take that away from me. I earned those.
Hey, Leon, I'm just curious here. We're talking about your performance in the finals and the whole thing. Can you describe us what it was like to play in the NBA finals, to be a part of that atmosphere, not just being in the final, but you're part of the Celtics. You're playing against the Lakers in the greatest rivalry in basketball. Can you describe how it felt just to be able to play in the NBA finals?
Yeah, I was more like a kid in the candy store, man. I'm telling you, I was so excited. And because I got chances to play a lot during the season. Sometimes if somebody went down, I played started, did stuff, did good stuff out there. But this time I was just like, this is a whole different ball game, because when you get to the finals, you think, oh, I already been in the playoffs, so I'm good now. You just don't. You think the playoffs and the finals are kind of like the same. But when I got there, it wasn't. It was totally different. And when I told y'all about going into the game when Doc called me to go in, and they held me back a little bit, and then I got a chance to see. I'm talking about every camera you can think of was in there, flashing lights, everything, and I was just like, man, this is amazing. But then I thought about the history, and when you think about the history, I was most proud of that, because you're in a rivalry game, and it's the finals, and it's the Celtics versus Lakers. That's the teams that got the league back on track, that got the league back up and running again, how it should be running, and took it from there. And then, when Jordan came in and everything. But those are the two teams. Those are the two teams that did that. And I was like, I'm playing for one of them in the NBA Finals. It was so surreal. And then I was just happy all the work that I put in, it finally came to fruition to pay off for that single moment.
Now, Leon, we mentioned before you played against a number of so many legendary players, and I'm sure you have a lot of stories. But as we mentioned earlier, you and LeBron James, you knew each other as middle schoolers. You eventually teammates in Cleveland. Can you talk to us about your relationship with LeBron?
We was cool in high school. We was real cool in high school. We played on the same AAU team. We mix and match between the 1 and 2 teams sometimes for me, and then on camps and ABCD camps back in the day. Y'all remember that? Yep. That was the big thing. You go to ABCD camp. That's where everybody get ranked, or you could play against all the players, which that's what I wanted to do anyway. And they matched us up on the same team as well because it was all by design. But I'll tell y'all a quick story though. We lost our first 3 games.
No way.
With me and him on the team.
Wow.
So what I did was I said, this is not possible. So I said, it has to be a mistake. It's got to be a reason why we losing these games, right? And I was like, we top in the country. So I was like, okay, let's see. And what I did was I really dissect the game. I said, LeBron, you can run point, can't you? He said, yeah. I was like, all right, who's the point guard we got on this team? I didn't know him. I don't know, but our coach was Tiny. And we told him, I don't know if everybody told us this story, but we told Tiny, man, you got to sit him down. I don't know who this guy is. He's not passing us the ball like that. He's shooting all the shots. So Tiny set him down. We moved Bron to the point. And guess what? We haven't lost the game, and that was the game against Lenny Cook. He still talk about to this day. So we didn't lose a game after that. We dropped the first 3 and didn't lose a game after that because we moved Bron to the point. More getting everybody involved and using our players and putting them in better situations as well.
Now, coming up with LeBron James and being part of the same class, McDonald's All-American class with him as well. Are you surprised he's still able to perform at the level that he is, given his age?
I'm surprised and not surprised because it's LeBron. I know how well he take care of his body. Everybody know that, but I'm surprised he still want to keep going. He did a lot. He did almost everything. So it ain't really nothing he want to play for. But I know it's always a championship. When you're a player, you play for championships. That's what you want to do. You want to get to the end goal. But at 42, you thought, or 41, I mean, you probably thought he was like, he gonna, retire and roll off into the sunset. But no, he want to keep playing. As long as you got that competitive edge, I don't mind it at all. From a player standpoint, if you got a competitive edge, keep playing. Keep playing until somebody tell you can't play no more.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's all good. It has no problem with me, and really love seeing it too. You know what I'm saying? See it when you come up together at some sort, and then you see people grow up to outlive their dreams, and that's all it's all about. When you're growing up as a kid, you have a dream to make it wherever you want to make it, and your end goals is your end goals. And to see that come to fruition with anybody, I'm happy.
Awesome. Now, from one teammate to the next here, I did my research before the show, Leon. And in high school back in Oakland, you were teammates with future NFL running back Marshawn Lynch, who was such a physical player that he had a gear nobody else could reach, which was called beast mode.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen some examples of that beast mode, but did anything stand out in high school? Any type of quick story you can share on Marshawn?
Yeah, he was doing all type of extraordinary stuff over there, and he was one of my younger. He was younger than me, and so I also watch him every game, football. When they played, and he always carried about 5 football players to the end zone with him, like they have like dog pile on him, but you can't see him. But you can see the pile just moving all the way to the goal, and then our crowd going crazy. And I'm like, man, Marshawn is strong. He's like one of the strongest guys I've seen, especially in high school. And then one quick story is that he said, Leon, I'm gonna go for I'm gonna try it on your team. I'm gonna go for the basketball. I'm gonna go to the varsity basketball. I was like, nah, yeah, that should be okay. You should be good. and what happened was I forgot to mention that this is not football though. It's physical, but it's not football. So what happened was in the game, he was in the game and I got fouled hard, which, you know, it's common. I got fouled. You know, some of my teammates usually retaliate. We fouled him. But Marshawn said, man, they fouled you hard. I was like, yeah, man, it's all good. We get him back next time. And he said, Coach, put me in. And I wasn't thinking because I was just trying to figure out, okay, how can we win this game? And then I see Marshawn in, and I was like, hold on. What he say? I got fouled. I was like, Coach, you got to take Marshawn out. Coach, you got to get him out the game now. And then what happened? It was the other team got a steal, and the guy was on a breakaway, and Marshawn was on the other side of the court. I said, Coach, get him out. Get him out. Coach didn't listen. Marshawn ran all the way across, met him in the air, kind of like clotheslined him and took him out, you know, on my behalf. And I had to pull him to the side because, you know, we almost had got to a brawl that game. But I had to pull him to the side like, Marshawn, it's not football, man. We can't do that. We can't clothesline or tackle people out of midair in basketball.
That's incredible.
Like, he wanted to get some get back, and that's how it is, you know, in Oakland. You get mine, I get yours.
That's crazy. Well, we always enjoy playing a quick show here with our guests, Leon, and we like to call this game word association. So we're going to throw out a name, and if you could give us a word and why you chose that word, that's word association. So I'll start us out here, and the first guy I got for you is Victor Wenbamyama.
Unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't seen nobody like him that moves like him. And he's able to change the game so dramatically on defense just by not blocking shots, just by being a shot deterrent, like where people go to the lane. I've seen people dive straight down the lane with the ball and make a U-turn, go all the way back to half court. I ain't never seen no stuff like that. And you saving your team about 10 to 15 points a game, maybe more a game, just by that. And yeah, he can do everything on offense too, and he's going to be fun to watch this up and coming year.
Well, I do got to say here before we get to the next one, that U-turn in the lane, guys might have done that if Marshawn Lynch played in the NBA, if he would have continued his basketball career too, based on the stories you're telling me.
They would have done that, but with Marshawn playing, they would have started a protest in this day and age. It'd have been a protest outside. It'd have been a protest not to let him play.
Okay. Former teammate number 5, the big ticket, Kevin Garnett.
Ooh. Toughness. And big ticket brings toughness to both sides of the court, offense and defense. Man, he go out there with such an intensity that sometimes you cannot match. You try to match it as teammates, and then the opponents will try to match it too, but they cannot match that intensity where he's coming out ready to go, fired up on 10 the whole game. And I'm telling y'all, he's like that in practice and in shoot around and on the bus ride to the game and the bus ride from the game. Whatever he's going, he's like that. And I didn't believe it until I seen it. And he just bring a toughness to the game that's needed. And, you know, sometimes it get lost in this day and age.
Hey, Leon, next one is NBA Finals MVP Jalen Brunson.
Oh, man. I will have to say what I'm looking for, probably a never give up mentality. And what I mean by that is everybody counted him out. Dallas Mavericks counted him out. They didn't want to offer him much. New York said we'd take him, but they still didn't know if he can bring them a championship. And a lot of the media is saying you can't win with a small guard. Whoever won with a small guard besides Isaiah Thomas? of the Detroit Pistons, besides maybe Steph Curry, and he's not that small. That's what they were saying. And for him to keep that attitude and for him to take less money, probably, I think it was less money or less years, resulting into less money. So, and to take that on, to try to build a team, it shows how selfless he is too, for his team first guy as well. And to win a championship, to block out all the haters, all the doubters, and to really believe in yourself and trust the work that you put in, much props to him. He did that. Even though Boston over here, we hate to see it. We didn't want to see that. It hurt our eyes. My eyeballs still hurt right now. But it's okay, though. We'll get over it because, he earned it. And we respect people that earn what they get.
Now, Leon, let's go from Wemby to the Greek freak here, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
He just Giannis is a guy that I'm talking about. I'm just gonna go with a motor. A motor, and if you know in basketball terms what a motor is, these people they don't stop running. They hustle, they block shots, they go in the end effortlessly, and they never stop. On offense or defense, they come at you all game. And that's Giannis. He come at you all game and really make it difficult for you to guard him, because if you're tired or if you ain't got the will to go the whole game, he'll eat you alive. You will get destroyed for that game. You got to match his energy, his intensity, but you also got to match what he's bringing to the table, meaning that never give up, but never stop running, never stop moving throughout the whole game. He just brings that type of motor to the game, and it's fun to watch too as well.
Hey, Leon, how about two-time reigning MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Shai, I'm gonna just say the mid-range. I'm telling you, everybody try to kick the mid-range out the game, but that man brought it back. He's been bringing it back every single day, and I add another player to there is Jalen Brown too. He's been incorporating that mid-range game, and now they tell us that the mid-range was a bad shot. Was a bad shot, a low percentage shot. Maybe some numbers will tell you that. Depends on what guy's shooting it. But my mid-range, I'm having Shai shoot the ball. Yeah. He's shooting it for me. So I don't know what guys people have and shoot the ball, but that Shai mid-range is not below average. It's above. And I think it's one of the highest we ever seen, maybe, I believe, if I'm not correct. So yeah, I'll say midi because he's bringing it back. He's sticking to what he knows and what he's been working on as a player, and not switching just based on numbers or analytics and things like that. Just keep doing what you're doing and do it to the best of your ability.
Before I get to mine, I just want to point out Jalen Brunson, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Peyton Pritchard. I think those are the three craftiest guys in the NBA. Is there anybody else that you would consider super crafty as well as those guys?
Oh, no, they crafty. Another one is kind of crafty is Tyrese Halliburton. He's crafty too. He looked like he's not going to go nowhere, but then he'll just lull you to sleep and then take off straight down the middle, get a layup or a shot for his teammates. And you don't think he's going to pull up from deep. And then sometimes he'll look like he's not going to shoot it, but then he just shoot almost a half-court shot for a game winner. And you just looking like, what happened? What? I didn't think he was going to shoot that. But it's all part of his game. It's all part of his game. That's what makes him crafty, because sometimes he look like he's not going to attack you or he's not going to shoot it, and he does the opposite. So he shoot it and attack you. So that's one of the other players I probably would have had.
All right, our final one in this game, Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic. Oh, man. Him, I will have to call him big fundamental times two. because he does it on the perimeter too as well. And when you do it on the box and on the perimeter, I don't know. I haven't seen a type of player kind of like that. He can't jump. He's not as quick, but he gets every shot that he wants using footwork and smarts. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what people describe as Larry Bird back in the day. But Jokic, he's unique too because he's 7 foot, but he's kind of like nimble. I used to call Shaq like twinkle toes because it's like he can get anywhere he want to go on the court, and without stepping out of bounds, without traveling, without tripping over himself. No, he's very coordinated, and he plays on the perimeter, and the passes he does is amazing. So yeah, fundamental.
You know, two of the guys, I know I'm going off script a little bit here, but because we're rolling with this, I want to get your thought on this. I look at Nikola Jokic and I look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and this may sound a little bit weird. I see those guys as similar in a lot of ways because they play at their own pace. You can't speed them up. You can't make them panic. They don't even know you're there half the time when they're guarding you. They're just in their own little zone and nobody can get in there. I mean, what do you think of that comparison?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good comparison because they do play at their own pace. And Jokic, he play at his own pace. You cannot speed him up for nothing. And the same goes for Shai. And he's on the perimeter, but he get to his spots on the court every single time, make or miss. Long as if you heard him talk, he says, as long as I got to my spot, I'm good. And most times he's gonna make those shots, and you can't speed him up either. So I think that's a good comparison. And I think both of those players are great players, and it's hard to stop them on a night in and night out basis.
Bruce, I'd add Luka to that list too, just given how strong he is, some of those step backs he has from the perimeter too. He plays at his own pace as well and makes it look pretty easy out there too.
Yeah, see, Luka he's listed as a point guard, right? Which he is, right? But see, people don't realize when they say Luka's a point guard, he plays his own pace, and there's a reason for him playing at his own pace. He's about 6'8", almost 6'9", and he's big. I'm talking about I'm like, that's not a regular point guard. And so and people was like, yeah, he played his own. Yes, because man, he can do this against anybody. He can get to where he want to go to on the floor at any point, at any time. And it's amazing to watch. And it's like, how is he getting by people? He know angles, he knows speed of the game, he know a lot of the stuff the little tricks that the vets always teach you. But he seemed like he came in the league with him. And I think that's because he was playing, overseas as a professional at a young age.
Yeah. Now, Leon, I got one bonus one here just because you're around the organization. I got to know, Joe Mazzula, what's the word association for Coach Mazzula?
Joe Mazzula, we're going to go with a little we're going to go with madness.
I like
We're going to go with madness because sometimes Joe Mazzula would do stuff or say something to a player or say something on the court to a ref. You're like, is he allowed to say that? You looking around for like help or something, like it's going to throw a challenge or a replay or something, like, can he do that? But he don't care. And that's the whole point. He don't care. He coach how he want to coach, and he want his players to play how he want to play, but you got to play defense. And if you don't play defense, he get on you. He gets mad about that. His practices, sometimes it can be unconventional. Sometimes I walked in one time, they was throwing the football around, but it was always a method to what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes it, that's the beauty of it. And that's why I said madness, because sometimes other coaches wouldn't even try to do that, or they wouldn't even say what he be saying in press conferences or anything. Mm-hmm. But it works for him. It works for him. That's our guy.
Leon, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your night to join us here on the 48 Minutes podcast. It's truly been our pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you,
Leon. No, appreciate y'all, man. Really enjoyed it. Fun questions too as well. And yes, and just to let y'all know, And I want to let y'all know, I was McDonald's All-American. See, people thought I just came in the league and you know, into my role with the Celtics. No, I used to score a lot of points. I used to jump from the free throw line until I got hurt. So I tell the kids out there, hey, work on your game, stretch, because I hated stretching. I hated stretching, ice, and always take care of your body. That's
Great advice there.
Awesome we were all Burger King All-Americans. The rest of the guys really did. Yeah, because we didn't have the game, but you know, we did love those Whoppers and fries.
Those Whoppers, especially 2 for $2, it's all good.
Awesome stuff. Well, with that will do it for this edition of the 48 Minutes Podcast on Believe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back with you next week to be sure you're up to date in 48 on all things around the association. Take care, everybody.